In the next 90 minutes, former President Donald Trump is expected to turn himself in to the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta.
He's facing more than a dozen charges in this fourth indictment. The president left his golf club in New Jersey and is on his way to Georgia now. He's accused of trying to overturn the 2020 election results. His motorcade is expected to arrive at the courthouse about 5 p.m. our time.
They tried to impeach him twice. Now they tried to indict him 4 times. You know, they're trying to eliminate him from the ballot box.
And he's a rat, and I know a rat when I see one because I'm from New York.
Got a little bit of everybody posted outside the courthouse, protesters and supporters. Security is high. Police set up new barricades today. Trump will spend about an hour in jail, be processed, fingerprinted, and yes, get a mugshot this time. After posting a $200,000 bond, he'll be free to leave. The DA has requested an October 23rd start date for all 19 people charged in this case. 2 more people turned themselves in today, including Mark Meadows. Meadows was the president's chief of staff. More than half of the 19 defendants have turned themselves in already.
Drivers trying to get to and from the mountains will be delayed. I-70 is closed because of rocks on the interstate. CDOT is blasting in that area because of its big construction project on Floyd Hill. Some rocks fell on I-70. It's closed for most of Floyd Hill from Beaver Brook at Highway 40 to Highway 6, and we still don't know when it will reopen.
It's another hot one today in Denver, our 10th straight day in the 90s. I feel like I don't have to tell you that. If you've been outside, you can feel it. There is some relief coming this weekend, though, but this cool down is going to bring a lot of rain, even a flood watch, Kathy. I say bring on the weather, you know, the rain, as long as it's not dangerous.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you did the Floyd Hill story right before me with the rocks on I-70. With the rainfall that we are forecasting in the next 48 hours, I'm afraid that mudslides and more rocks could come down and create even more issues on areas like I-70. So this is going to be a big story tomorrow. The weather, 91 degrees in Denver today, so not as hot as it's been, but still toasty and above average. We're hoping maybe there'll be an isolated shower come across the foothills this afternoon, but it doesn't look likely. It's warm, it's dry. Denver now at 93, 92 in Greeley, 98 Lamar, 96 in Pueblo. After 10 days, this pattern comes to an end. It's all about heavy rain and cooler weather. That's right. Highs tomorrow and over Saturday could be in the low to mid 70s. Kind of a preview of fall, but look at the water coming in. Yeah, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall is going to create some flooding issues, mudslides, and travel issues on a busy Friday when maybe people want to get into the high country to do a weekend adventure or get out onto the eastern plains and just spend that weekend outdoors in downtown Denver. Watch the weather because slow-moving storms, the remnants of Tropical Storm Harold, is going to be a big issue no matter where you are in Denver and northeastern Colorado, with the potential for that water coming in. Between now and 8:30, not looking at much in the way of isolated showers, if any, from Highlands Ranch, Evergreen up to Arvada. It all changes, though, as we move into Friday morning. So temperatures in the low 90s now. We'll slide into the mid 80s. If we're lucky, a few sprinkles out there. If we're unlucky, wind and lightning in a time of high fire danger. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track those gusty storms, talk much more in detail about the flood watch for Friday and the heavy rain potential and how much you can expect heading into Friday. Big changes, you guys.
Better dig out the umbrellas.
Yes.
Where is that thing?
Yeah.
It's been so long. Thanks, Kathy.
All right. It was a busy day in downtown Denver today. First, you might have seen a plume of smoke coming from a hotel roof in downtown Denver. We first spotted that smoke around 10 o'clock this morning at the Sheraton Hotel off 15th and Court. Denver Fire says a boiler on that roof there was overfilled with diesel fuel. They burned off that excess fuel, which led to the ominous-looking smoke cloud. Firefighters say there was no danger to people in the hotel or around it. This afternoon, a threat shut down some transportation through downtown Denver, and RTD says there was a threat to the building above Civic Center Station. It closed the bus station and part of the mall ride shuttle loop. RTD said the issue was resolved a short time later.
Police are investigating whether the shooting death of a California business owner is a hate crime. Authorities believe Lori Colton was killed by a man arguing with her over a pride flag she had displayed outside her store. Carlton was known as an LGBTQ ally. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry sat down with 2 allies who say the shooting has reignited safety concerns throughout the country.
Ask for a sign, and the universe will give it. The sounds of an old squeaky tortilla maker is usually a signal of an authentic meal.
Everybody gets the opportunity to feel important when they walk into somebody's establishment that cares enough to deliver that experience.
Peter Waters owns Tiaco in Boulder. If the walls are any indicator, people have made memories in this space for a while, and signs prove all are welcome to make more.
We have a couple pride flags hanging around the restaurant. It's just a nice little way, subtly, to let our staff know that we're behind them, to let our guests know that this is a welcoming and safe place for them. Sadly, that's not the case for every establishment, as we learned last week.
Last week, Lori Carlton was shot and killed outside of her California clothing store. Authorities believe the man responsible for her death took issue with a pride flag she had displayed. Carlton was known as an ally to the LGBTQ+ community.
I think now it's more important than ever to kind of show some solidarity, and at the end of the day, there's a sense of belonging. I think everybody deserves that right.
A right that can be found just down the road at Jungle. A right ally, Jake Novotny, doesn't plan to lose.
Never will. That flag's been up since July of 2019. It hasn't come down, so we just want people to feel like they're part of a community here.
Novotny is the owner of Jungle, a bar known for its good vibes and weekly drag queen events that have not stopped despite last week's shooting.
We had a big group meeting and we're like, how can we make sure that people who come here still feel safe and that we continue to provide a safe space? But overall, it was really scary for us. I mean, we just did our insurance renewals for our business and we were offered a free active shooter seminar. So there's just signs that
signs show this world is changing, but others are there to remind people not everything has to.
We're always going to be there. We're not going to take that flag down.
Both business owners we spoke with say they will not be taking down their pride flags anytime soon. They said they have not experienced any hate towards their business, but know the threat, even in Boulder, is still out there. Alex?
Yeah, it feels good to see the resolve in these business owners.
Yeah, absolutely. They say now more than ever, it's important to stay united during this difficult time.
Okay. Jaleesa, thank you.
A 91-year-old woman walking in Louisville is dead after the driver of a car hit her there this morning. Louisville police say the crash happened on West Cherry Street, not far from McClasson and Highway 36. Police say the 91-year-old woman had serious injuries and was on the ground in a lane of Cherry Street when they arrived. She later died at the hospital. They have not identified her yet. Police say the driver who hit the woman stayed on scene and is cooperating. They're asking anybody who saw the crash to call police.
In 30 minutes, Denver school leaders will meet and vote on whether to approve the termination of a principal now under investigation. The board will likely approve firing Kurt Dennis. He's the former principal at McAuliffe International Middle School. The district fired him after he spoke to 9 News about school security concerns after a shooting at East High School. Now, Denver police are investigating Dennis. The board received complaints from a whistleblower who said the school used a room in McAuliffe to lock up students. The board said students of color were locked in that room multiple times and the room violated district policy. The board's meeting starts at 4:30 and we'll be there.
Denver's new mayor has talked about finding places to put people experiencing homelessness. And for the first time today, he shared a map of where that housing might go. Mayor Mike Johnston shared a preliminary list of possible sites for micro-communities. They stretch from West Denver out to Green Valley Ranch. Johnston wants to create 7 to 10 micro-communities. They'd be like tiny home villages that could house 40 to 100 people. Some of the land is private. Some is owned by the city, CDOT, or Denver Housing Authority. They try to find places that are close to transit, have access to utilities, and meet zoning rules. The list right now is not finalized. The city is still negotiating with private landowners. Meanwhile, the city swept a second camp near downtown Denver after a shooting there this week. Crews lined up at the camp at 17th and Logan. On Monday, a shooting hurt 2 men living in that camp. They were not involved in what led up to the shooting. They're going to be okay. The city is supposed to give 7 days notice, but they only gave 2. The city said the short notice was a matter of safety.
The Broncos don't need any more bad news, but they got some today. The team had to cart off Jerry Jeudy off the field this morning. The wide receiver pulled up after a run. He was holding his right leg. Head coach Sean Payton said Jeudy hurt his hamstring. He is going to get an MRI. Like Kliss says, he could be sidelined for several weeks. The Broncos don't need any more injuries to their wide receivers. Specifically, it has been a rough training camp for them. Tim Patrick got hurt early. He tore his Achilles and will miss the entire season. Patrick missed all of last season after tearing his ACL in training camp. Broncos waived KJ Hamler after he was diagnosed with a heart condition. We'll have much more on the Broncos injuries and wide receivers depth coming up with our Broncos insider Mike Johnston in just a few minutes.